I woke up this morning, surprised to not see my boyfriend in bed with me. I had gone to sleep early before him since he was gaming with a friend of ours, but I had still expected him to eventually come to bed. I got up and walked to the room with our computers, and he's passed out on his chair, his pants and boxers pulled down to his knees. His wallet is out, with his credit card sitting on top of it. His tablet is perched on the desktop in front of his monitor. It's laughable how obvious it all looks. I woke him up and said, "Who or what did you pay for to beat off to?" which he denied. He also seemed to still be drunk from the night before. I told him I'm not stupid, show me what's on the tablet, but he just ignored it and said he didn't pay for anything. He got up, pulled his pants up, plugged his tablet into its charger, and went into the bathroom. So, I turned his tablet on and saw that he had a few incognito windows still open to live chat rooms. There were a couple chats that were behind a paywall, so either his premium session timed out or he didn't pay for anything. Not sure how the site works. I took the tablet into the bedroom, took pictures of the different windows that were open, including one that shows his picture in the corner for his profile, and waited. When he got out of the bathroom, neither of us said a thing, and he just took his tablet back and went outside for a smoke. I asked him how long he had been doing it. A bit, not long. I asked if he's continued contact with people he's met in these rooms. No. Have you done anything with people we know, not just online? No, but I can't trust him. Our intimacy life has been terrible for the past couple years. We've been together for almost 12 years, so I certainly understand it's not going to be how it started, but it's barely once a month. I've cried over it. I've asked him what we can do to fix it. He told me he was bored with it. So, now I don't know what to do. I feel stupid. I feel a bit humiliated. I told him it's cheating, but he doesn't think it is. This is something I've told him I consider cheating. Sunken cost fallacy aside, I don't know if it's worth leaving a decade-long relationship over. I obviously still love him. We just bought a house together. Aside from the intimacy and intimacy issues, not that those aren't huge, we are each other's best friend. He's asleep right now. I'm still weighing my options. I can afford to leave. I have a great support system, but I want to consider therapy or counseling. Any advice would be much appreciated. Edit. I want to thank everyone for the kind words and sympathies and all the advice. I took a lot of it to heart and used a lot of what was said in order to voice to him how it's made me feel. He feels genuine remorse and blames being drunk and humiliated as the reasons why he had so few words this morning. He pulled up the profile he made and showed me that it was made late last night and there is no purchase history. He admitted to being on camera with another woman and jerking off before passing out. I have not forgiven him, and I have not yet decided if I'm leaving. I told him the bare minimum is couples counseling, individual counseling for him, and quitting drinking. He signed us up for counseling through Regain minutes after I was done talking. I've started looking at apartments close to where I work. It's not over, but it's not good either. Everything just kind of sucks, so I'm going to have a gummy and watch some Love is Blind and be happy. I'm none of those people. Thanks to everyone again. I didn't expect such a response. I appreciate all of you. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. It is not going to change. He has lost interest in you sexually. If you are okay being basically just friends for the rest of your life, then you are in a good place. If you want a romantic relationship, he is not going to be it, obviously. He would rather pay an intimacy worker than be with you. You're not married, you can co-own a house, find a new boyfriend. He is just really a friend. If you deny that, it will eat away at your soul because you will feel like you can change him. You cannot. Comment 2. I can't stand the modern world. This is a nightmare for women. I honestly want to opt out of dating altogether. What do we have to look forward to? We get to be the warm bodies they frickin' impregnate, but the women online get to be the women they pay and lust after and fantasize about. And when they frick us, they close their eyes and imagine it's them. It's so great to be a living, breathing, talking fleshlight. Now for the update. Hey everyone, I'm back with an update after a week that's been, well, let's just say it's been a ride. I really appreciated all the support from my last post, and it gave me the strength to face what came next. So, after the whole tablet incident, things went from bad to worse. My boyfriend, let's call him Mark, seemed to be genuinely remorseful. He was all in for the counseling and even started attending AA meetings. But then I stumbled upon something that made my blood run cold. I was doing laundry and found a receipt in Mark's pocket. It was for a fancy hotel in town. Dated for a night, he told me he was crashing at a friend's place because he was too drunk to drive. My heart sank. I confronted him, and after a lot of denials, he finally admitted that he had met someone from one of those chat rooms in person. It was a one-time thing, he claimed, but that was the last straw for me. I was furious, not just because he cheated, but because he lied straight to my face even when he was supposedly trying to make amends. I packed a bag and went to stay with my sister. She's been my rock through all of this, reminding me of the time when Mark and I first met, how we used to be inseparable, and how much we've changed since then. While staying with my sister, I got a call from our mutual friend, the one Mark was supposedly gaming with that night. He had no idea about the hotel rendezvous, but told me something else that was shocking. He said that Mark had confided in him about being bored with our relationship months ago, but he never thought Mark would act on it. I couldn't believe it. All those nights I cried myself to sleep, thinking we could fix things, and he had already checked out of our relationship. It was like a punch to the gut. But wait, there's more. I decided to dig a little deeper into our finances, and I found out that Mark had been siphoning money from our joint account for these online escapades. It wasn't just a drunken mistake. It was a calculated move. He had been paying for private sessions and tipping these women online for months. I felt like I didn't even know the man I had spent nearly 12 years with. The betrayal was too much. I started looking for apartments more seriously and even found a place that seemed perfect. It was close to work, and the landlord was understanding of my situation. Then, 2 days ago, Mark showed up at my sister's place, unannounced and uninvited. He was a mess, begging for forgiveness, saying he'd do anything to make it right. But when I looked into his eyes, I didn't see the man I fell in love with. I saw a stranger. I told him it was over, that I couldn't be with someone who had so little respect for me and our relationship. He left, but not before making a scene that had the neighbors peeking through their curtains. I've been trying to process everything, to understand how we got here. I remember the good times, like our 5th anniversary when he surprised me with a trip to the beach where we first said, "I love you." It feels like a lifetime ago. Now I'm just trying to pick up the pieces of my life. The counseling sessions are canceled and I'm focusing on myself. I've been reconnecting with old friends and rediscovering hobbies I had put aside for the sake of our relationship. It's not easy, and I still have moments where I break down, but I'm getting stronger every day. I'm learning that I deserve better, and I'm starting to believe it. My BF ditches our Valentine's Day plans to cheer up a bar girl. He claims he barely knows, so I call him out and we fight, but then I learn the truth, and we try to fix things before he moves away. My boyfriend currently is not living with me. He's staying with his mother about 4 hours away because he's about to start working on the road, so right now we are doing long distance. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, which doubles up as our anniversary for when we went official. I was pretty sad that we couldn't spend it together, but he's coming out on Friday and we can spend the weekend together. He and I barely talked yesterday, excluding the fight we had. We probably spoke for about 2 minutes on the phone and only texted once to say good morning and happy Valentine's Day. No communication on our anniversary. He called me at like 8 p.m., and I was excited thinking, finally here's our call for the day. But instead, he's in someone's car on the way to the bar. He told me he was going to the bar with this girl he's been hanging out with every night. They got in a fight today, so he took her out for dinner to cheer her up, and now they're going to the bar because she's going to try to pick someone up to get laid. I got pissed immediately. I was basically ignored all day on Valentine's Day so that he could take some other chick out on a date. I hung up, and he and I bickered over text for a bit, and basically, his defense for this was, her and I aren't even sexually compatible. I told you because I wanted to be honest. If I was cheating, I would have lied to you. I'm really upset to the point I'm not sure I want him coming here anymore. He's making me feel like I'm crazy for being upset because I know nothing went on, but it still feels inappropriate to me. I honestly never get like this, but I don't even think I feel comfortable with him hanging out with this person anymore. Is what he did inappropriate, or am I possibly just being too sensitive? Would it be silly to tell him to cancel the trip to see me over this? I'm mad now, but this would be the only time I can see him for months. Update. So I have spoken with him. He agrees that the situation wasn't very ideal and apologized for how yesterday went. And I have to admit I made this post in a very bad headspace, and I have very black-white thinking. Because I was upset when I posted this, I made it sound worse than it was. He isn't cheating on me. I have no reason to believe he is. This woman isn't someone he hangs out with every night. It's someone he sees at the same bar every time he goes. They aren't close at all. He did kind of say that originally too, but I processed it differently. It's also more my fault than his that we didn't speak all day. I've been dealing with a depressive episode and I slept most of the day yesterday. Like 2:08 and then 8:30 today. He woke up around 2. We said Happy Valentine's Day to each other, then I passed out. He tried to call me around 7, but I didn't answer because I was sleeping. That one is on me. I was just upset it happened, so I blamed him for it. They didn't really go on a date. She had left the bar and walked to the restaurant. They are across the street, crying as she and her boyfriend got into a fight. My boyfriend was about to go into the restaurant at the same time, so he asked her what was wrong. They had dinner together so she could vent. She then drove to drop her car off at her house so they could walk to the bar together. I have Life 360, and I know he was only there for like 10 minutes. My boyfriend agrees that her trying to sleep with someone else after the woman and her boyfriend got into a fight was not okay, and she wound up calling her boyfriend as soon as they got there. My boyfriend called me, sent the selfie, and all this because I have trust issues and he was trying to keep me in the loop, so I wasn't watching his location and panicking. And that stupid sexually compatible thing is just what he says about anyone he isn't sexually attracted to. It's so annoying, but that's literally what he means by it, and I do know that. I just hate hearing it. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. It's the "her and I aren't even sexually compatible" comment that got me. How does he know that? Did they date in the past? I have platonic female friends, and I have zero idea if we are sexually compatible or not, because it's such a non-statement in my opinion. Comment 2. Yikes, definitely not okay. They're also hanging out every night? I don't know, girl. She either doesn't actually have a boyfriend, or they're both messing around behind their partners' backs. He doesn't sound considerate or trustworthy to me. Now for the update. Hey everyone, back with an update on the whole Valentine's Day mess with my boyfriend. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. So after I posted last time, things took a turn for the steamy, the shocking, and the downright confrontational. First off, let me fill you in on some backstory that I didn't mention before. My boyfriend, let's call him Jake, has always been the kind of guy who's super friendly. Like, he can't help but be the shoulder to cry on for anyone in distress. It's one of the things I love about him, but it's also gotten him into trouble before. Back in high school, he got into a fist fight because he was comforting someone else's girlfriend after she had a bad day. The boyfriend got the wrong idea, and bam, drama. Now, fast forward to the present. After our fight, Jake showed up on Friday as planned. I was still fuming, but I decided to hear him out. He walked in with this look on his face, like a puppy that chewed up your favorite shoes. He started off with an apology, saying he realized how the whole situation looked and that he never meant to hurt me. But here's the jaw-dropping part. He confessed that the girl, let's call her Sarah, had made a move on him at the bar. He turned her down, of course, but it was a close call. He said the whole thing made him realize how much he didn't want to lose me. I was shocked, angry, and a little bit flattered all at once. We had a long, intense talk about boundaries and trust. He promised to cut back on the late nights with Sarah and anyone else who could cause this kind of misunderstanding. I agreed to work on my trust issues and not jump to conclusions so quickly. But wait, there's more. Remember how I mentioned Jake's tendency to get into trouble because of his helpful nature? Well, it happened again. A few days after our big talk, Jake was at the bar. Yes, again, when Sarah's ex showed up. Words were exchanged, and before Jake knew it, he was in the middle of a full-blown bar brawl. He wasn't hurt badly, just a black eye and a bruised ego, but it was a wake-up call for both of us. We realized that our relationship was being tested by these constant dramas, and we needed to make some changes. Jake decided to take a break from the bar scene and focus on his job on the road. I started seeing a therapist to deal with my depressive episodes and trust issues. Things were looking up, and we were finding our way back to each other. But life has a funny way of throwing curveballs. Just as we were getting back on track, Jake got a call about a once-in-a-lifetime job opportunity. The catch, it was on the other side of the country, and he'd have to leave in a week. We were torn. This job could set him up for life, but it also meant more long distance. And after everything we'd been through, that was a tough pill to swallow. We spent his last week together trying to make the most of every moment, knowing it might be a while before we could be together like this again. And now, here I am, sitting in our favorite cafe, writing this update. Jake left this morning. We said our goodbyes, full of promises to make it work and to visit as often as we could. It's bittersweet, really. I'm proud of him for taking this step in his career, but I can't help but feel the ache of his absence. My husband's ex-girlfriend's son likes all his posts, and when I dig deeper, I find out she owes his family money, but he still won't block them. So I plan a face-to-face, and oh boy. I've been married to my husband for 2 years now. It's a first marriage for both of us. His family has been very good to me. They immediately accepted me, welcomed me in, started including me in family events, really made it not even a second thought to say yes when he proposed after a year of us being together. I noticed on social media that there are always likes from a teenage boy on posts that he puts up about me. I thought it was a bit weird that he's friends with a teenager, so I looked through the photos I could see on his profile. There are a few with my husband from about 8 to 10 years ago, as well as another woman. When I asked my husband, he said that the boy is his ex-girlfriend's son. He explained that they were very serious, but that she had ended up getting married to someone else. This seemed odd to me, so I asked my mother-in-law about her the next time I saw her. My mother-in-law rolled her eyes and said, "Don't even mention Val. I am so glad that you came along because that girl was so bad for him. She was unemployed, a single mother, and just very trashy. We never would have accepted her." I am very successful career-wise and well-established. My family is very prominent in the community and well-regarded. The more I thought about it, the more it really felt like my background had more to do with things than anything. I asked my husband about Val again and asked if he would have married her if not for his family. He said that one of the biggest reasons she chose someone else was because his family refused to accept her. When I asked what was different about me, he responded, "She was Camilla and you're Diana." I asked him if that meant he would marry her if anything happened to me. He shook his head, laughed, and said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. I told him I wanted him to remove and block his ex and her son from his social media immediately and to stop communicating with them. He's told me that he has a cordial relationship with both of them and that he doesn't feel it's fair for me to ask him to cut them out. Is there a good way for me to deal with this knowledge? I'm losing sleep over the fact that I feel like a placeholder that is there to please his family and that he'll go back to her once his parents are gone. I'm starting to doubt every interaction I ever had with him. When I bring it up to him, he gets upset and tells me to stop dwelling on his past. I wish that I'd never known this because I feel like all of my happiness has been drained. Is there a good way to approach this? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Charles was in love with Camilla throughout his marriage to Diana, cheated on Diana with Camilla, and now Camilla is the Queen of England. Bad analogy. Very bad. Comment 2. Tell him that unless he gets rid of Camilla, you won't be his Diana for much longer. Then, his family will have something even bigger to harass him about. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a busy 3 days since I last posted about my husband's past with his ex-girlfriend Val and her son, and the social media situation that had me spiraling. I've got some updates that I think you'll find pretty interesting. First off, I couldn't shake the feeling that my husband's family's acceptance of me was more about my background than who I am as a person. So I decided to have another chat with my mother-in-law. I wanted to understand why she had such a strong reaction to Val. Turns out there's a history there I wasn't aware of. My mother-in-law confessed that years ago, Val had caused a major rift in the family. She had borrowed a significant amount of money from my husband's parents and never paid it back. This was before my husband and Val were even dating. When they got together, his parents were worried history would repeat itself. Armed with this new information, I approached my husband. I told him I understood why his family might have been protective, but I needed to know where we stood. He admitted he hadn't been completely honest with me. He said he did have strong feelings for Val at one point, but he also assured me that he loves me and chose to be with me for who I am, not just my family's status. The conversation was tough, but it led to a compromise that I think is fair. We agreed that he wouldn't cut Val and her son out completely, because he feels a sense of responsibility towards the boy, who looked up to him as a father figure when they were together. However, he agreed to set boundaries. He would limit his interactions with them and keep our private life off social media. Just when I thought things were settling down, another surprise came my way. I received a message from Val herself. She had heard about my concerns and wanted to clear the air. We met for coffee, and it was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I've ever had. Val was nothing like I expected. She was down to earth and seemed genuinely happy with her life now. She explained that she had moved on a long time ago and was in a good place. She also told me that she encouraged her son to like my husband's posts because she wanted him to have a positive male role model, and she thought my husband was a good man. The meeting with Val was a turning point for me. It made me realize that I had let my insecurities get the best of me. I had been so focused on the past that I wasn't appreciating the present. My husband and I had a long talk after that. We both opened up about our fears and insecurities. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. As for the social media issue, my husband has been true to his word. He's been more private about our life online, and he's been more attentive to me and our relationship. It's not perfect, but it's a start. I've also been doing some self-reflection. I realized that I had been projecting my own insecurities onto my husband and his family. I was so worried about being accepted for who I am that I didn't see how much they actually cared about me. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.